Very good morning, children. Children, as you all know, we have already finished with three lessons. Today, we are going to start with lesson number 4, that is environmental balance. Children, you have to do a simple activity. You have to ask your elders in the family to take you to a riverside or a lake or a stream. Okay, and what you will do there, you will observe various living things there, right? As in the picture, you all can see. Yes, the boy is observing all the living things. Yes, children. Okay, make a list of all the living things you see there. If you don't know the names of any of the living things you see, make a note of them, describing their shape, color, sound, shelter, etc. Or draw their pictures. Count how many types of living things you see. Okay? Now you have to repeat the same activity in your house, in the school garden, or in a field. Fine, children? Yes. Now, children, in your observation, what will you find? You will notice any signs of presence of the living things, right? For example, did you notice any partly eaten fruits or shells, fallen feathers, animal tracks, dung droppings, etc.? Yes, you will find them. Okay. Could you observe any of the microorganisms? Children, you all know what is the meaning of microorganisms? Microorganisms means those organisms which cannot be seen with our naked eyes. We have to use an instrument called as microscope to see those organisms. These are called as microorganisms. Okay. How many types of living things did you see at the places you visited? Do you think you saw all kinds of living things that belong there? Did you see the same living things at various places or different ones? Okay, you will have to answer this all. Fine. A variety we see in all the living things that belong to a particular area is what is called as the biodiversity of that place. Fine, children. What is biodiversity? Biodiversity means the variety we see in all the living things that belong to a particular area. Fine. To study the biodiversity of a place, scientists make a large number of observations. They make these observations in different conditions such as day and night, in different seasons, etc. They use special devices to make observations of the living things that are found at great heights and depths as well as of microorganisms. Observations of many scientists are brought together and studied again. Only when such efforts are made over a long period of time, then we can be sure about the biodiversity of the place. Fine, children? Yes. Now we will see about the environment. The surroundings and the condition in those surroundings which affect the life of the organisms there are together known as environment. Fine, children? Once again I'll repeat, what is environment? The surroundings means हमारे आसपास का जो एरिया है वो, okay, and the conditions in those surroundings which affect the life of organisms. मीन्स हमारे लाइफ के ऊपर जो असर होता है उन कंडीशंस का, दैट टुगेदर, वो कुल मिला के उसे हम लोग एनवायरनमेंट बोलते हैं. ओके, वी से इट एनवायरनमेंट टुगेदर. इट इंक्लूड्स many components such as sunlight, air, water, soil, plants, animals, etc. Oh, okay, children. What are the components of our environment? Components of our environment are sunlight, air, water, soil, plants, and animals, etc. Okay, all these come under environment. Fine. Living and non-living things are dependent on each other. मीन्स लिविंग और नॉन लिविंग थिंग्स एक दूसरे से संबंधित है. अगर नॉन लिविंग थिंग्स नहीं होते तो लिविंग थिंग्स भी नहीं होते, और अगर लिविंग थिंग्स नहीं है तो नॉन लिविंग थिंग्स भी नहीं है. फाइन. देयर इज़ अ लॉट ऑफ गिव एंड टेक और इंटरैक्शन बिटवीन देम. मीन्स लिविंग थिंग्स एंड नॉन लिविंग थिंग्स में लेन बहुत है, लेन देन बहुत है. ओके, देयर इज इंटरैक्शन, बोथ आर डिपेंडेंट ऑन ईच अदर. एक दूसरे के बिना कुछ हो नहीं सकता उनका. ओके, एनवायरमेंटल साइंस स्टडीज दीज इंटरैक्शंस. ओके, अ साइंस कॉल्ड एज एनवायरमेंटल साइंस, मतलब एनवायरनमेंट का जो साइंस है वो ये सब हमें सिखाता है. ओके, व्हाट आर दोज इंटरैक्शंस, लिविंग और नॉन लिविंग थिंग्स के बीच में क्या संबंध है, ये सब हमें कौन सा साइंस सिखाता है? एनवायरमेंटल साइंस. फाइन. यस. नाउ चिल्ड्रन, लुक एट दिस पिक्चर्स. यस, you can see living and non-living things of your environment in this picture. Yes, look at the picture of the living things and non-living things below. Discuss their mutual relationships between the various factors of environment. Right? Now children, elephants eat what? Grass. Yes, tiger eats animals, right? A snake eats rat, rat eats grasshopper, right children? Yes children, can you all understand what I am trying to say? What I am trying to say is that all the things, whether it is a living thing or a non-living thing, they are interrelated. मीन्स एक दूसरे से उनका संबंध है, एंड एक दूसरे के बिना वो चल नहीं पाते, वो चल नहीं सकेंगे. ओके, इफ़ देर आर नो लिविंग थिंग्स इन अवर एनवायरनमेंट, देन नॉन लिविंग थिंग्स विल नॉट एग्जिस्ट, एंड इफ नॉन living things are not there in our environment, then living things will not exist. Fine. So both living things and non-living things are necessary for us. Fine. Now turn the page, page number 20. Yes children, what you are seeing there? You are seeing a food chain. Okay, a food chain is also a part of our system. Fine. Now look at the picture below. You can see 4 pictures, right? And an arrow. Yes children, what does that arrow indicate? That arrow indicates that if one of the 4 is missing, then the others also will not be able to survive. Okay children, how? That we'll see. First we can see is grass, right? Grass is eaten by whom? Worm. Okay. Worm is eaten by whom? Grasshopper. And grasshopper is eaten by whom? Birds. Right, children? Yes. So birds eat grasshopper, grasshopper eats worms, and worm eats grass. Right, children? So these four of these are interrelated to each other, and without one another, if one of them is also missing, then the food chain will remain incomplete. It will not get completed. Fine. A worm eats grass and leaves, a grasshopper eats worms, and birds eat grasshopper. This is what is called as a food chain. Fine, children. Next, look at the pictures below. What all you can see? You can see links, right, children? There are several links in this chain, right? If the links were to separate from each other, could they be called a chain? मतलब ये जो सब लिंक्स है उसमें से अगर एक भी निकाला तो वो चेन फॉर्म होगी क्या? नो, नहीं होगी, राइट? Even though each link is a complete object, it is joined to the links before and after it. And if any links comes loose, then the chain is broken. Right, children? चेन में अगर एक भी लिंक लूज हो गई या टूट गई, देन उसको हम लोग चेन बोल सकते हैं क्या? नहीं. We cannot call it a chain, right? A chain means continuous, right? But if it is broken, then how we can call it a chain? We cannot call it a chain, right? In the first picture, we see the sun, some plants, a worm, a grasshopper, and a sparrow. Yes, children, we all had seen the picture, right, just now. What can we see in the picture? We see the sun, some plants, a worm, a grasshopper, and a sparrow, right? They all are connected with each other. Okay? वो सब एक दूसरे से बंधे हुए हैं. They are linked with each other. Each of the components, plants, worm, grasshopper, bird, is a food for the next one. Yes, children? Do you all agree? Yes? समझ में आ रहा है सबको? Okay. Plants, worm, grasshopper, bird, ये सब एक दूसरे की खाने की चीज़ें हैं. Right? It is a food for the next one. That is why we say that they form a chain. Okay? They all are linked with each other. वो सब एक दूसरे के ऊपर डिपेंड है. So we call it that is a chain. Such a chain is called as a food chain. Fine, children? Such a chain is called as a food chain. Each of these components is a link in a food chain. Fine, children? Yes. Each of these components is a link in a food chain, and this chain is called as what? A food chain. Now, children, look at the pictures. The first is the picture of a deer, and the next is the picture of a lion. Yes? What is the deer's food, children? You all are seeing, right? What is the food of the deer? Yes, the deer feeds upon the leaves of the trees. Yes? And what is the food for the tiger? Exactly. The deer is the food for the tiger. Right, children? Okay. The picture below shows another food chain. You have to guess the missing link in it. Look at the first and the third pictures and think of the connection between them and complete the chain. Oh, okay, children? You have to complete the question mark that is given in between. Who will be there in the chain? Fine. This you will do it as an activity. And children, today we will stop here, and the rest part of the lesson we will do it in the next period. Thank you.